Quentin Monaghan is a senior on the Irish men's tennis team, now in his second year as the team's #1 singles player. But Quentin is not just the top singles player in the Irish team. Last season, he advanced to the semifinals of the NCAA Singles Championship and finished the season ranked 7th in the nation. This season, he is partnering with fellow senior Alex Lawson at #1 doubles, and the duo currently ranks 6th in the nation. We welcome Quentin to this week's edition of the Jack Swarbrick Show.
Quentin, thanks so much for being with us. Really appreciate it. The obvious question coming off that introduction is, which do you prefer, singles or doubles?
I think I still prefer singles, but I've never had success in doubles like this year, and it's been a lot of fun playing with Alex. Doubles is pretty quick and a lot of energy, so it's definitely fun, but I think singles I still prefer.
What makes a double partnership work? Why do you two guys click?
I think, our game styles match pretty well. I'm a little more consistent, and he's got a lot of power, so we complement each other pretty well. But then personality-wise, we both bring a lot of energy, and I think it's, the doubles point goes so fast. It's just the first 1 to 6, so it's kind of like whoever's coming out there with the most energy and just influencing the match positively, and I think Alex does an incredible job of that.
Being the #1 guy for singles and then also doing the #1 doubles, how do you really manage, your energy level for both? I'm just curious if it's possible to can you give equal energy to both, or do you have to kind of focus on, all right, the team needs me to win here for this match to be successful?
Yeah, and that's one thing I had to learn. I think it's like something that goes through your head, but at the end of the day, you got to give everything into singles and doubles. I think the competition is too tough just to sort of like take, doubles lightly and focus on singles. I just don't think you'll get away with that. There's not a huge secret. Ultimately, you just got to kind of put it all on the line, and you might suffer a little bit in the singles and be a little tired, but you just got to get through it. It's hard to just not give your best, because I don't really think you'll be that successful.
Right. What makes a good doubles player? Because obviously you had tremendous success as a singles player last year, and I think you talked a little bit about how you're consistent. And Lawson has power.
Yeah.
But what really makes a great doubles player?
I think someone with pretty good instincts at the net, just has a good feel for the game. The points are faster, so the ability to serve well, to return well. It's a lot of quick points, so it's just the little things that matter. You don't get to play a long point where you're hitting a bunch of balls. So if you're able to serve and return well, and then finish balls at the net, then I think that helps the most.
I think it also helps to be a little crazy.
Yeah.
Having watched doubles, you're right on that net. That thing's coming a million miles an hour. You're a little like a lacrosse goalie.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Trying to protect yourself. Exactly. So you must have great reflexes.
I think playing a bunch over the years, they're not bad. But I think Alex is the better hands of us. But we both have good reflexes.
I know I'm for sure getting hit with a ball if I'm up there. There's no chance of surviving.
Everyone gets hit.
I always love that when it happens in a match and the other side sort of apologizes.
Yeah.
Right? It's the ethics of the sport. But I'm thinking, well, you were standing there. You should have got hit. I remember very distinctly sitting in ACC meetings last year, monitoring your progress on my cell phone as you marched through the NCAA tournament. You got so hot and had such a great run there. What was that experience like?
That was incredible. I had a good year leading up to it, but you never know going into the tournament because every player is extremely good. And, I had a really tough match first round, was able to get through it, picked up some momentum, and then just played better and better every match. I don't know, it was probably the most fun week I've had in my life, representing Notre Dame and just putting everything out there on the biggest stage in college tennis. So, that was a blast.
I doubt the listeners at home, at least in the majority, are familiar with the schedule that is collegiate tennis.
Yeah.
Can you kind of fill in, to the layman, what goes on between now and the end of the year, and really leading up to this point as well, just so people can get an understanding of where you are in your season and what you're looking forward to?
Yeah. So there's a fall season as well, and that's all individual tournaments. But then we started with Michigan State last weekend, or 2 weekends ago, and then we play non-conference until early March, and then we're playing in a full ACC schedule where we go Friday, Sunday. I think there's like 12 or 13 teams. And then conclude with the AC tournament in April, and then NCAA team tournament in beginning of May, and then after that is the individual tournament.
So you have all these individual tournaments in the fall season, and then you kind of build up to the end. From a training standpoint, how do you kind of build into one and then you build into the other, or is there a way to kind of taper at the right moments?
The fall we get worked pretty hard. Our fitness coach Jeff will run us and lift us pretty tough, and even if we have tournaments, he knows is the time to really work us. But in the spring we taper down and just kind of get ready to play matches, and we just want to be fresh and compete at our highest level.
Well, we know from the talking before we came on the air your Jersey roots, but give us some other insights into the non-tennis side of your life. What's the dorm? What's the major? What do you like to do?
I was in Stanford Hall. I'm a senior now, so I live in Irish Row. I've lived with a tennis guy ever since I've gotten to choose. I'm a management consulting major. Not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. I think I might try and play professionally for a couple years. Outside of tennis, I was born and used to live in Philly, so a pretty big Philly sports fan. Follow them pretty closely.
You've had better years.
Yeah, this is a tough year. But I don't know. Besides that, not much. Besides tennis and school.
What would be the professional path from here for you? How do you get into that world?
Yeah, it'll be tough starting out. It's you got to work your way up. You start with low-level tournaments where there's very little prize money, and hopefully you keep progressing and keep getting better. So then you start winning those tournaments, and then you go to a higher level tournament, and then eventually, hopefully, you work your way into the slams, like the Australian Open's going on right now.
Right.
But yeah, I'll be sort of grinding in India and China or wherever I feel is easiest to play, just so I can kind of graduate into the higher level tournaments.
The Australia Open is my favorite tournament of the year because I'm hopelessly nocturnal, and so to turn on the television at 2 a.m. and be watching Djokovic play I love that. It's marvelous. Yeah.
So that's not good. The insomnia here. We got to get this solved, man. I read a really interesting thing, by the way, that I had to ask you about.
Yeah.
In your bio, it says that you were awarded the key to your high school.
Yeah.
And I just have no idea what that even means. Can you just go anywhere? Like, could you? It
was actually for middle school. And,
it was middle school.
Yeah. But I don't know. The principal gave me this award called the key, and
was it an actual key? Like,
yeah, it was like, but it was not a key to anything. But this one time in 7th grade, someone dropped $20 on the floor, and instead of keeping it, I turned it into the principal's office, and they thought that was like a heroic act for some reason, and so I guess the award was for like trust and being a good person. But my mom was like so proud, and she told everyone, and I haven't thought about it since you mentioned it.
You dug deep into the bio,
man.
I
was digging deep, man. Yeah. I mean, when I came over a key to the school. That's that's got to be a huge deal. But I mean,
I don't think it's that.
Can you still go back and like, you like
got
wear
special privileges.
You wear the key around your neck, and you're like big man on middle school campus? Have you been back?
Just to pick up my little brother, but not inside.
I was going to say, you should wear the key every time you go.
I know. Yeah.
Wonder what the principal did with the 20
That's an even better question. I got to do some more research here.
Well, look forward in this season for us. What do you guys have to work on? How do you feel the team's developing? Who are the key contributors? What can we look forward to?
I mean, I can honestly say this is the hardest working team I've been on in my 4 years. The guys are putting a lot of work in, and I think we're starting to build some confidence. We have some inexperienced players, and it just will take some matches for them to get comfortable in the big pressure moments. But I think if we just stick to the process and continue to get better every day like we are, then we could do some big things in the ACC and hopefully surprise some people.
Who are the powers in the ACC?
Virginia's always, I think they've won like 8 or 10 straight AC championships, so they're always top 5. Won the national championship 2 years ago. UNC, Duke. I mean, we were 4th like 2 years ago, so it's usually UVA, Duke, and UNC.
Younger guys on this team now. You're kind of phasing out of the program after this year.
Yeah.
Looking at the younger ranks, who's somebody that the Irish faithful can be excited about? Maybe stepping up later this year and really moving into a leadership role once you're gone. You can name a couple guys.
Yeah.
You don't have to specifically name one.
I think we have a really strong freshman class this year. 2 guys that stick out are Grayson Brodus and Alex Lebedev. Really passionate about tennis. They're always at the courts, always hitting in the morning, getting extra work in. Really dedicated to being good at the sport, and ultimately it's about the hours you put in on the practice court, and they really do that. So I'd look for big careers from them going forward.
And you talk about putting the hours in on the court. What's like the average workload for a men's tennis player at the University of Notre Dame?
Our practices are about 2.5 hours, and then I'd say if you're not getting extra work in at least like 3-4 times a week, you're probably just not doing enough. So you're looking at, close to 4-hour days. We're fortunate to have 3 incredible coaches and so many guys to hit with that. If you want to be good, then you have the tools and capabilities to do it here. So I think if you're putting in 3-4 hour work days, then you're doing a good job.
And I watched an interview recently with it's an old interview of Agassi,
Yeah.
and he's talking about how he would plan out his returns. I'm sure you've watched this as a tennis guy, but I'm curious can you watch film of opposing players and understand the way in which to return is best, or kind of plan out your game so that you can play them before you play them? I'm not sure how that works in tennis.
No, scouting reports are a huge part of the game. A lot of guys have success just because of matchups. They're a tough guy to play, and it's hard for the guy to, there aren't many answers. But we don't necessarily watch film, but we've seen most players enough that,
right.
We know, is there a side that could break down forehand or backhand, or is there a pattern that he doesn't like, or does he not like to get low, so should you slice? Just little things like that the coaches do a good job of picking up on.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in the remainder of this season and in everything that follows it. Thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
man.
it. Yeah.
We'll be back in a minute.